feel like not enough people warn you that when you start making the right choice in dating, start going for emotionally available men that are genuinely interested in you and make that very clear from the get-go, it gets a little bit more boring. Dating gets a little bit more boring because it's no longer up, down, will they, won't they, this like chemical, like you're getting rewarded 1 second and you're not.
If you want to know what women think about some of the nice guys they choose to settle down with when they start nearing their 30s, you'll want to stick around because the girl you just saw lays it all out for you. Before we jump into the drama for today, if you like what we've got going on here, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and keeps me going, so let me thank you in advance for your support. And without further ado, let's get into the mess.
I wouldn't play no games and I wouldn't play hard to get. If my dream man asked me out on a date, I would not be saying no because he won't ask me again. It's not that. If I said no to a date, then I don't expect that person to ask me out on another date because I've given them my answer. It's pursuing. I want to be pursued. I don't want to do the pursuing.
Of course you don't.
I do all this shit in my life that I make decisions for. Self-employment, mother, all this like alpha energy. I want to be feminine. I want to be asked out on the date. And then I'll wine and dine them after they've asked me out on the first date. That's fine. It's equal. I will treat them like a king and they can treat me like a queen. As long as I can go on a few little solo holidays as well. I like my space a little bit. But yeah, I'm not doing no pursuing.
She starts the video by saying that she doesn't expect a guy to ask her out for a second time if she turns him down once. And honestly, I think that's a fair approach. If you're like me and don't really have time for the back and forth chasing that sometimes goes on when you're in the early stages of dating, a woman who says what she means is a welcomed change. When it comes to her being in her masculine energy most of the time, but wanting to be in her feminine for the right guy, I'm not too sure how easily she'll be able to pull that off, because for most people, it's kind of hard to code switch that sort of thing. For the most part, it seems like modern and independent women want all the freedoms that come with that, but when it comes to romance, they still want things to be done the old-fashioned way. But for me, I kind of think if you want to be in total control of your life, you should be ready to take the leadership role in your love life too. I mean, what's the difference? I'm sure there are plenty of men out there who'd like to be pursued these days, especially since guys are approaching women less and less. It seems like the only man someone like this would be happy with is someone who's more dominant than her. But as I always say, does she have the qualities that a guy like that is looking for? Who knows? Towards the end of the video though, she dropped one of the biggest red flags to me, which is that she wants to go on a few holidays on her own because she needs her space. While all women don't get their cheeks clapped by a stranger whenever they go on a girl's trip, I don't think it's a good look when you're in a relationship of consequence. But that's just me. Maybe you guys have a different opinion.
I've really been in a mental chokehold around the whole spark versus slow burn situation, and I think that like this is it for me. Not to say it doesn't happen, but I've never felt so bad. I am the exact same as this, and like people talk about it all the time. I ultimately think that some people are just built different. Some people are just built different, and maybe it goes back to childhood, maybe it comes back to psychology, maybe it comes to attachment styles. I don't fucking know, but I just feel like some people are different and some people need that real initial like, and I think in a time, like we're in the modern day where like we're fucking busy.
And this is where nice guys go wrong, by trying to get women to like them over time. They think that if they stay close and do all the things that a woman wants, over time, she'll experience the slow burn and eventually come to like him. But I'm sorry to tell you, that just doesn't happen, at least not to the degree it's worth reporting on. Saying that, placing too much focus on an initial spark is where a lot of people go wrong, because in the long run, that so-called spark will go out, and what you're left with are just two people trying to make something work. But just because the spark isn't there anymore, it doesn't mean that people don't love each other. Even though chemistry is important, what's really going to determine if a relationship works is down to how compatible people are. When women solely prioritize the spark or chemistry they have with someone, they can end up emotionally investing in a guy who isn't on the same page as them, because it's really easy to get caught up in your feelings. Guys who know how to trigger a woman's emotions quickly can take advantage of women like this. They know how to feed their addiction to emotional highs and lows so they can get what they want until they've had their fill. Is this always the case? No. but it's something women should be cautious about.
Do people have, like, who has time? Who has time for a slow burn? I don't get it. So I've come to realize that instead of trying to force a slow burn with someone, there is 0 point, and you are better off going for a spark if that's what works for you. Also, I don't want to be someone's slow burn. I want someone to like see me and instantly be like, yeah, this has got potential. This is a thing. Not I'm not sure. I'm gonna give her a chance. Like, I don't want someone to give me a fucking chance. Like, I don't know. I just no. I don't like it. I'm a very intuitive person, and I know very quickly if I like someone or not. And it's never, and even with the people that I haven't liked straight away, I have continued seeing them because I'm like, but they're nice, and I might grow to like them. Never.
For guys, we come to a decision very quickly regarding how attractive we find a woman, but it takes us a little longer to decide if she's someone you want to build a life with. All this girl is interested in is that initial dopamine hit, and I wonder if this is something that'll change as she gets older. She's right in that she shouldn't force herself to be with someone just because they meet the majority of her needs. However, maybe it'd help if she took a breather and figured out why getting that initial spark is so important to her. As far as I can tell, the only thing she's interested in is enjoying the ups and downs and chaos that come with being in a relationship. So let's see how that works out for her future.
If a man asked me what I brought to the table, I could easily and confidently answer that question with emotional intelligence, empathy. I'm very loyal to the people I invest in. I take time for the people that I care about. I am smart. I am funny. I am sensitive. I am generous. I am joyful. I am very youthful. I can be a little bit silly. And yet, if I got asked this question, that is not what I would actually say. What I would actually say is, what do you think I bring to the table? The reason why I'd ask this question is because I shouldn't have to spell all of that out for you. You should actually be able to detect some of that even just by being on a first date with me. And I shouldn't have to convince you I have all these positive characteristics in order for you to want to spend time with me. You won't know everything from a first date, but you should know enough to remain curious and interested and want to put some effort in to find out more. What I don't like about questions like that is that it puts you on the back foot. It implies that only you are looking for a date with them when actually they should also be looking for a date with you. You both mutually have to be interested. And we're insecure, we get in the mind frame of trying to impress them when actually you have to remember that they are also trying to meet the criteria on your list. And if you can't answer that question confidently and easily, well then that's something to work on. You need to write that list and have it in your head even if you're not going to be sharing it with people on a first date. It gives you a certain energy. It gives you the energy of, well, if you don't think I bring anything to the table, then why are we even here?
While I wouldn't outright ask someone I was seeing what they brought to the table, it's definitely something that'd be running in the back of my mind. When you want to build a future with someone, you tend to think about how they can be a benefit to your life. But since you're gonna be in a relationship with them, you also have to consider how you're going to change their life for the better. While the things she listed about herself are nice, to be honest, the majority of it should come as standard. And at the end of the day, these aren't the things that'd make me want to build with her. I'd be more interested in what she thinks about having a family and what role she'd want to play if we go down that road. And while she might not outrightly say it on a first date, there's a good chance that she'll be trying to size up my income to see if I'm someone who's able to provide, or at the very least, handle the majority of the finances if we decided to move forward with things. I agree with her in that both people need to be invested in whatever they have going on, and you should know exactly what it is you expect from someone you might end up building a life with.
I feel like not enough people warn you that when you start making the right choice in dating, start going for emotionally available men that are genuinely interested in you and make that very clear from the get-go, it gets a little bit more boring. Dating gets a little bit more boring because it's no longer up, down, will they, won't they, this like chemical, like you're getting rewarded one second and you're not the other, the next.
That's why you're almost 40 and you're still alone.
You're getting consistent, predictable behavior, and that to the brain is not exciting. Otherwise, drugs wouldn't be exciting to people, It's very predictable, smooth sailing, and stable. And while that's great in the long term because you don't go crazy, it also makes you realize that, I'm not gonna have these quick dopamine hits in like a kind of toxic way, but that's the reality. If you want to continue dating high school level emotional maturity men, then go for it. Keep going for those men that don't choose you, that text you every 5 days. Or you can go for the guy who will respond to you as soon as he sees his message. Like, it's not like, you know, like it might be less exciting, but you know, it's in the long term. It protects your heart, your brain, your nerves.
This is exactly what people are talking about when they say that nice guys finish last. It's only after women have had all their fun in their prime years and wasted their time with guys who were never going to invest in anything more than a series of quick hookups that they want to plant themselves in a more secure situation, even if it's with a guy they're not really that excited about. Guys who aren't able to trigger a woman's emotions, much like in the same way the first girl we watched today wants them to, they're often seen as boring. These men reply to messages right away, not leaving anything up in the air, making sure that nothing triggers a woman's insecurity or emotions, which is precisely what the woman in this clip said. She loves the ups and downs that come with being in a chaotic relationship, but as she gets older and her need for something more stable gets stronger, she reluctantly gives up chasing the dopamine hits. As much as women like to come online and complain about whatever guy is giving them the Bane backbreaking treatment, they love it, which is why they keep going back to it. They'll even dump the nice guy if it means they can hook up with the bad boy who knows just what buttons to press to trigger her emotions and make her feel that spark, even if it's short-lived. At the end of the day, what she's talking about here is a man being a woman's safe choice once she decides that the party is over. But is it fair for that guy to have to take on whatever baggage she's racked up over the years? Honestly, I don't think so.
Sexual discipline in a man is so attractive. In fact, not only is it attractive, it's like absolutely necessary. And I know it's kind of like the bare minimum, but in this day and age where like promiscuity is so rewarded, it's almost not the bare minimum anymore. Like honestly, I can't think of anything worse than a very lustful man. Like the whole relationship, you're worrying about what he's doing. When you guys end, you know he's doing some lustful shit. I think this is a character trait that not enough women are prioritizing when they're looking for a partner. Being with a lustful man is going to kill any sense of confidence you have. And honestly, all forms of discipline in a man are so attractive because the man has so much control and power that he can even control his own urges and do what's right. Like that is so sexy. Lack of sexual discipline to me means the man is weak.
The thing is, if a guy's able to hook up with a lot of women because they find him desirable, for the most part, that'll make other women want him even more. In the clip before this, the woman was talking about how being with toxic men, or the bad boy, is super exciting because of all the highs and lows she gets to experience, which is something that's bound to happen if she's dealing with a man who has a lot of access to women. While the woman in this video said that she doesn't want to worry about what her lustful partner will be getting up to, that's just the trade-off of being with someone who's in high demand. To be fair to the woman in this clip though, there are guys out there who need to get a nut off every day, and it doesn't matter who it's with. And in this respect, I can see how that can be very off-putting. If a man's able to clap cheeks whenever he wants but chooses not to, it speaks to a level of discipline he might have, but it could also mean that he gets so much action that it's just not that important to him anymore, which is the big difference between a guy with options and a guy without. But what do you guys think? Drop your thoughts in the comments.